When Amelia's loyal maid finally gathered the courage to reveal the truth, that her husband had been bringing another woman into their home, Amelia refused to believe it. But what Olivia said next changed everything. "Madam," she whispered, "if you want to see the truth with your own eyes, then wear my uniform and pretend to be a maid." What happened that night will leave you speechless. Everyone in the neighborhood admired Gabriel and Amelia. To everyone who saw them, they were the picture of a perfect marriage. Gabriel was tall, handsome, and charming. Whenever he walked beside Amelia, he held her hand gently like she was the most precious thing in the world. He opened car doors for her, smiled lovingly at her, and spoke to her with such sweetness that other women secretly wished for a man like him. Amelia was beautiful inside and out. She was kind, hardworking, and deeply in love with her husband. Every time she looked at him, she felt thankful to God for blessing her with such a caring man. She believed their love was pure. She believed she was safe. But behind Gabriel's perfect smile hid a terrible secret. Inside their beautiful home, there was another silent witness, Olivia, their maid. Olivia had worked for the couple for 3 years. In that time, she had grown to love and respect Amelia deeply. Amelia was the kind of woman every maid prayed to work for, never shouting, never insulting, always treating Olivia like a human being. On Christmas, Amelia would even buy her gifts and say, "Olivia, thank you for your hard work." But Olivia's heart carried a painful secret. A secret that made her lose sleep almost every night. A secret that could destroy Amelia's entire world. Whenever Amelia traveled for business or went to visit her family, Gabriel changed completely. The loving husband everyone saw in public would disappear. He would bring women into his own home, into his own matrimonial bed. The last time Amelia traveled, Gabriel brought home a young woman named Bella, bold, beautiful, and arrogant. Bella acted as if she owned the house. She ordered Olivia around like she was trash. "Clean the table, girl. And hurry," she would shout while laughing and sipping wine in Amelia's living room. Olivia would stand quietly, her hands shaking with anger and pain. She wanted to scream. She wanted to tell Bella to get out. She wanted to tell Amelia the truth. But fear held her tongue. Gabriel was too powerful, too cunning. In front of people, he called Amelia his queen. He kissed her hands in public, told friends how lucky he was to have her. Everyone believed him. No one knew the monster he truly was behind closed doors. Sometimes, Olivia would hide in her small room and cry silently. She couldn't understand how a man could betray such a good woman. Every night, she knelt by her bed and prayed, whispering softly, "God, please let the truth come out one day. Please open Madame Amelia's eyes. She doesn't deserve this pain." Olivia didn't know when or how it would happen, but deep inside her heart, she knew one day, the truth would explode like a storm. And when that day came, Gabriel's fake world of love and lies would finally come crashing down. It was a bright Thursday afternoon. Amelia had traveled out of town for a business trip just 3 days earlier. That same evening, as Gabriel returned from work, he drove home with Bella, his side chick, the woman he couldn't seem to stay away from. The moment they entered the gate, Gabriel looked at Bella and smiled. "Baby, make yourself comfortable," he said proudly. "This house is yours now. You deserve it." Bella smiled like a queen taking her throne. She walked into the house, swinging her hips and looking around as if she owned the place. She sprayed Amelia's expensive perfumes, wore her slippers, and even slept on her bed that night. To Bella, she was not just a visitor. She was the new madam of the house. Olivia, the maid, watched in silence. Every night she lay in her small room, her heart heavy with pain. She couldn't believe what she was seeing, another woman sleeping in Madame Amelia's bed, wearing her clothes, and acting like she owned everything. But Olivia had no power to speak. She could only pray and wait. Meanwhile, on the 5th day, Amelia finished her business trip earlier than expected. Smiling to herself, she booked the first flight back home. She didn't tell Gabriel. She wanted to surprise him. As the plane touched down in their city, she imagined his face, how he would hug her tightly and tell her how much he missed her. She couldn't wait to see that smile again. But she had no idea that the surprise waiting for her at home would break her heart into pieces. That morning, Olivia was cleaning the living room when she suddenly heard a car drive into the compound. Her heart skipped a beat. She thought it was Gabriel returning from work again, but when she opened the door, she froze. Standing there, smiling brightly with her travel bag in hand, was Amelia. "Madam." Olivia gasped, almost dropping the mop. Amelia laughed softly. "Olivia, you look like you've seen a ghost. I finished early, so I decided to surprise my husband." But Olivia didn't laugh. Her heart was pounding so loudly she could almost hear it. This was it. The moment she had prayed for. She took a deep breath, trying to steady her trembling hands. "Madam, please, come and sit down," Olivia said quietly, her voice shaking. Amelia frowned slightly. "Why? What's wrong? Where's Gabriel?" "I need to tell you something," Olivia whispered, looking around nervously as if afraid someone might be listening. Amelia's smile faded. She dropped her handbag on the chair and sat slowly, her heart suddenly uneasy. Then Olivia spoke, every word trembling out of her mouth. "Madam, whenever you travel, Olga brings another woman into this house. Her name is Bella. She's been here since you left. She sleeps on your bed, uses your things, and treats me like her maid. I didn't tell you before because I was scared. But now you're back, you can see everything for yourself." For a long moment, silence filled the room. The only sound was the ticking wall clock and Amelia's heartbeat echoing in her ears. She looked at Olivia in disbelief. Her lips parted, but no words came out. Tears began to fill her eyes as her throat tightened. "Olivia, are you sure about what you're saying?" she whispered weakly. Olivia nodded, tears streaming down her own face. "Yes, madam. I swear with my life. She is not around now. Maybe she went for shopping, but I know she will soon be back." Amelia's world began to spin. She gripped the edge of the chair to stop herself from falling. Could this be true? Could Gabriel, her loving husband, the man who called her his queen, truly betray her like this? Her chest tightened as she remembered how he always kissed her forehead before bed, how he smiled at her in front of their friends, how he always said, "You're my everything, Amelia." Now, all those memories suddenly felt fake. She tried to stand, but her legs felt weak. Tears rolled down her cheeks as she whispered, "No, not Gabriel. He can't do this to me." Olivia knelt beside her and held her hand gently. "Madam, I didn't want to tell you this way, but it's better you know the truth." Amelia sat frozen for a moment, her mind blank. Her heart told her it was true, yet her mind refused to believe it. Slowly, she stood up, wiped her tears, and took a deep breath. Amelia closed her eyes, her heart breaking inside her chest. Her whole body trembled as she tried to hold back her tears. "If what you're saying is true," she whispered softly, her voice shaking, "then I must see it with my own eyes." Olivia took a deep breath. She had been holding this secret for too long, and now that the moment had come, she knew there was no going back. "Madam," she said quietly, "please listen to me. There's only one way for you to know the truth without anyone lying to you." Amelia lifted her head slowly. "What do you mean?" she asked. Olivia swallowed hard and spoke carefully. "If you pretend to be a maid, madam, you will see everything yourself. Bella doesn't know you. She will treat you the same way she treats me. Then you will see how she behaves, and how Olga treats her." For a few seconds, Amelia just stared at Olivia, shocked and speechless. Her own maid was asking her to pretend to be a servant in her own house. The thought stung her pride. How could the wife of Gabriel, the so-called perfect husband, dress like a maid in her own home? But as she thought about everything Olivia had said, a fire began to burn inside her heart. Her pain slowly turned into anger. If Gabriel had truly turned their home into a hotel for his mistress, then she needed to see it with her own eyes. She wanted to catch him red-handed, so he would never be able to deny it. Amelia stood up slowly. "Give me one of your uniforms," she said in a low voice. "Madam," Olivia hesitated. "Are you sure?" Amelia looked at her, her eyes red from tears but filled with determination. "If this is the only way I can know the truth," she said firmly, "then so be it." Olivia quickly brought one of her uniforms. It was a simple black dress with a white apron. Amelia took off her jewelry, wiped her makeup, and changed her clothes. When she looked in the mirror, her reflection broke her heart. She no longer looked like the elegant woman everyone respected. She looked like a maid. But her eyes were sharper than ever. "Let him see the kind of woman he betrayed," she whispered under her breath. Olivia stood behind her, trembling. "Madam, I'll act normal. Just do as I do, and you'll see everything." Amelia nodded slowly. Her lips trembled, but her spirit was strong. That moment, she made a silent vow. If Gabriel was truly cheating, she would never forgive him. If you're enjoying this story, please hit the like button, share with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more touching and emotional stories like this one. Not long after, the sound of a car horn echoed through the compound. Olivia's heart skipped a beat. Moments later, the front door opened, and Bella walked in proudly, holding several shopping bags. She was humming loudly, swaying her hips as she entered the living room. Her perfume filled the air, and her gold bangles jingled with every movement. When her eyes landed on Amelia sitting quietly beside Olivia, she stopped and frowned sharply. "And who is this one?" Bella asked rudely, pointing at Amelia like she was pointing at a stranger on the street. Olivia forced a smile and quickly replied, "Oh, she's also a maid here. She went to visit her sick mother, but just came back today." At once, Bella's face changed. Her lips curved into a wicked smile. "Ah, 2 maids," she laughed mockingly. "Perfect. Now I can finally relax." She dropped her shopping bags carelessly on the floor, clapped her hands together, and said proudly, "Both of you, come here. I have work for you." Amelia's heart began to race. She could barely breathe as Bella stood like a queen giving orders, in her own living room. Bella sat heavily on the sofa, crossing her legs and adjusting her hair with pride. "You," she said coldly, pointing at Amelia without even looking properly. "Come and massage my legs. They are aching from walking in the mall." For a moment, Amelia froze. Her chest rose and fell as anger burned inside her. She looked at Olivia, and Olivia gave her a small, pleading nod, silently begging her to stay calm. Swallowing her pride, Amelia knelt down slowly in front of Bella and began to press her legs gently. Every touch felt like fire on her hands. Tears filled her eyes as her heart screamed in pain. "This is my house. That is my sofa. You're lying there like a queen in the home I built with my husband." Bella leaned back comfortably, sipping a chilled drink. She looked at Olivia and said lazily, "Go to the kitchen and make me something special. I'm tired of ordinary food. I want pepper soup with plenty of meat. And make it fast." Olivia nodded quickly and hurried away, glancing back at Amelia with eyes full of pity. Meanwhile, Bella looked at Amelia again. "What's your name?" she asked carelessly, scrolling through her phone. Amelia bowed her head and said quietly, "My name is Amaka." Bella smacked proudly. "Amaka, good. You will wash my clothes tomorrow. But for now, go upstairs and bring me my phone charger." Amelia's chest tightened instantly. Upstairs. That was her bedroom, her private space, her sanctuary. She stood up slowly and began to climb the stairs. Her legs trembled as she reached the top and opened the bedroom door. What she saw made her knees weak. Bella's handbags were scattered across the bed. Her makeup items lay on the dressing table. Amelia's perfumes, jewelry, and clothes had been pushed aside to make space for another woman's things. Tears welled in Amelia's eyes as she stood there, staring at the bed she once shared with Gabriel. Memories of their laughter, their nights together, and his promises came flooding back. She pressed her lips tightly together to stop herself from screaming. With shaking hands, she picked up the charger and went back downstairs, quietly placing it beside Bella. Hours passed. Bella continued her insults, ordering Amelia to sweep, to serve drinks, to kneel and scrub the floor. Amelia obeyed silently. Her face stayed calm, but her heart was raging like fire. Every command was like a knife cutting through her soul. She wanted to shout, "I am the wife of this house, not your maid." But she held herself back. She reminded herself that the perfect moment hadn't come yet. She needed Gabriel to see everything with his own eyes. As the evening sun faded through the curtains, Bella stretched out on the sofa and yawned loudly. "Ah, what a sweet life," she said proudly. "2 maids to serve me, and my man all to myself. That foolish wife doesn't even know what she's missing." She laughed loudly, sipping her drink, completely unaware that the maid kneeling beside her was that very wife she mocked. Amelia's hands tightened around the rag she was using to clean the rug. Her eyes burned with silent fury. Inside her heart, she swore softly, "Very soon, Bella, very soon, you and Gabriel will face me, and the whole truth will explode." It was evening. The sun was setting slowly, casting a soft golden light across the compound. Inside the living room, Bella sat lazily on the sofa, scrolling through her phone. Suddenly, she heard the sound of a car pulling into the compound. Her face lit up instantly. Her eyes sparkled like a child waiting for candy. "His back," she squealed, jumping up with excitement. She rushed to the mirror, adjusted her hair, sprayed perfume on her neck, and smiled proudly at her reflection. Then she hurried to the door, her heels clicking loudly on the tiled floor. Moments later, Gabriel walked in, tired from the day's work, his tie slightly loose and briefcase in hand. The moment Bella saw him, she screamed joyfully and ran straight into his arms. "Welcome back, love," she said sweetly, hugging him tight and kissing his cheek. Gabriel smiled, his weariness melting away. "I missed you too," he whispered, feeling like the king of his own world. Bella beamed proudly and gestured toward the dining table. "The maids have cooked you a delicious meal. You'll love it. They even prepared your bath," she said with pride. Gabriel frowned slightly and looked at her. "Maids," he repeated. "What do you mean maids? We only have one maid, Olivia." Bella blinked and laughed awkwardly. "Oh, no, darling," she said playfully. "There are 2 now, Olivia and another one, Amaka. They've been taking good care of me." At the mention of that name, Amaka, Gabriel's heart skipped a beat. A strange fear crawled through his chest. Before he could ask any more questions, Bella clapped her hands loudly. "Olivia, Amaka, come here," she shouted. The sound of footsteps echoed down the hallway. Olivia came in first, her head bowed, her heart pounding. And then, Amelia appeared. She was still dressed like a maid, her hair covered, her face calm, but her eyes were burning with fire. The moment Gabriel saw her, his world shattered. His briefcase slipped from his hand and hit the floor with a loud thud. His lips trembled. Amelia," he stammered weakly. His face turned pale. His knees wobbled as sweat formed on his forehead. Bella looked from one to the other, confused. "Wait, Gabriel, who is she?" Amelia straightened her back slowly, her disguise now meaningless. Her voice came out sharp, strong, and filled with pain. "Tell her, Gabriel," she said coldly. "Tell her who I am. Or should I?" Gabriel's knees gave way. He fell to the floor and clasped his hands together. "Amelia, please, please, I can explain," he begged. His voice shook like a frightened child's. But Amelia lifted her hand and silenced him. The entire house went quiet. You could hear the clock ticking on the wall. She looked at Bella, her eyes calm, but deadly. "Bella," she began slowly, her tone like ice. "I am Amelia, Gabriel's wife, the real woman of this house, the woman whose bed you've been sleeping in." Bella's mouth dropped open. She staggered back as if struck by lightning. Her shopping bag fell to the floor. Her lips trembled. "No, no, this can't be true," she whispered, shaking her head. "Gabriel, tell me she's lying." Amelia took a step closer, her eyes locked on Bella. "You came into my home. You sat on my chair. You ordered my maid around. You lay on my bed, the bed I share with my husband," she said, her voice trembling with pain. "Tell me, Bella, did you feel like a queen? Did you feel powerful?" Bella's knees weakened. She couldn't stand anymore. Tears filled her eyes. She tried to run toward the door, but Amelia lifted her hand sharply. "Not so fast," she said coldly. Olivia quickly stepped forward and blocked the exit. Her eyes flashed with anger. This time, for her madam. Gabriel finally looked up from the floor, his eyes red and swollen. "Amelia, please," he cried. "I swear, it was a mistake. I didn't mean for it to get this far. Please forgive me. You're my everything, Amelia." Amelia let out a bitter laugh, a laugh so painful that it made Bella shrink where she stood. "You're everything," she said mockingly. "You call me your everything, and yet you brought another woman into my home? Into my bed? What kind of everything is that, Gabriel?" Gabriel lowered his head, unable to speak. His shame filled the room like a heavy fog. Bella, now trembling uncontrollably, whispered, "I'm sorry. I didn't know you were coming back today. He told me you'd be gone for a week." Amelia's lips curled in disgust. "Even if that were true," she said firmly, "what kind of woman with dignity walks into another woman's home and acts like the owner?" Bella tried to speak, but Amelia's fierce glare silenced her instantly. Amelia took a slow step forward. Her voice dropped, calm, but filled with power. "You will not walk out of this house untouched," she said coldly. "Tonight, you will learn never to step into another woman's home and steal her peace." Gabriel's eyes filled with tears as he slowly crawled closer to his wife. "Amelia, please," he begged, his voice trembling. "We can fix this. Don't end our marriage. Don't throw everything away." But Amelia stepped back firmly. Her face was calm, but her eyes burned with fury. "Gabriel," she said coldly, "the only thing destroyed here is you. And you will face the consequences of every choice you made." Her voice was steady, sharp, and full of strength. She looked him straight in the eyes and said quietly but powerfully, "Pack your things. You don't live here anymore." The words hit Gabriel like thunder. He froze for a moment, staring at her in shock. Then he shook his head desperately, tears rolling down his face. "No, no, Amelia. Please. This is my home too. Don't do this to me." Amelia gave a short, bitter laugh. "Your home," she repeated, her tone dripping with disgust. "This house is mine, Gabriel. Everything in it. The cars, the furniture, the life you've been enjoying, all came from me and my father's company." She took a deep breath, her eyes hardening. "And now, it's all over." Gabriel collapsed completely on the floor. His knees hit the marble tiles as he stretched out his hands toward her. "Please, Amelia," he cried, his voice breaking. "Think of our memories. Think of the love we once shared. Don't destroy me like this." Amelia bent slightly, leaning closer until their eyes met. Her voice dropped to a whisper, a cold, painful whisper that cut through him like a knife. "Gabriel," she said slowly. You destroyed us the moment you opened this door to another woman. You ended our love the moment you let her lie on my bed. Her voice cracked slightly, but her strength never faltered. Don't ask me to think of love when you were the one who killed it with your own hands. Gabriel's lips quivered as he wept openly. Amelia, please, he begged again, his voice weak. I'll do anything. I'll change. I swear on my life, I've changed already. Please don't throw me away like this. Amelia straightened her shoulders and looked down at him with finality in her eyes. Tomorrow morning, she said firmly, you will resign from my father's company. Every benefit, every privilege, every allowance, you will hand it all back. Gabriel's eyes widened in horror. His face twisted with dismay as he shook his head violently. No, Amelia. Please. If I lose this job, I'll have nothing. I'll be finished. Don't do this to me. He crawled closer, clutching the hem of her dress, his tears wetting the floor. Please, Amelia, he sobbed. I'm begging you. Forgive me. Give me one more chance. But Amelia stepped back slowly, freeing her dress from his grip. Her eyes glistened with unshed tears, but her heart was firm. You should have thought of that, she said coldly, before you betrayed me. Before you brought shame into my home. She turned away from him, her voice echoing through the house like thunder. Gabriel, she said one last time, her words cutting deep. It's over. The sound of her heels echoed as she walked away, leaving Gabriel kneeling on the cold floor, broken, trembling, and surrounded by the ruins of everything he once had. Bella stood frozen by the wall, her eyes filled with tears and regret, while Olivia silently bowed her head in pity for her madam, a woman strong enough to rise even from heartbreak. Bella's heart pounded wildly as Amelia's voice echoed through the living room like thunder. Her knees felt weak. Her palms shook. She had never felt so small, so humiliated in her entire life. Tears rolled down her cheeks as she whispered, Madam, please. I didn't know. She tried to rush toward the door to escape the shame, but Olivia stepped forward and shoved her back firmly. Stay there, Olivia ordered sharply, her eyes blazing with anger. Amelia walked toward Bella slowly, each step steady, graceful, and filled with power. Her voice was calm, but every word carried the weight of justice. So, you thought you could sit on my chair, she began, her eyes never leaving Bella's trembling face. You thought you could sleep in my bed and order my maid around? Tell me, Bella, do you know what that makes you? Bella shook her head weakly, her lips trembling. Amelia's voice hardened. It makes you a thief, a shameless thief of another woman's peace. Bella broke down completely. Madam, please. I didn't know, she cried, falling to her knees. He told me you would be away for a week. I swear, I didn't know you would come back. But Amelia's face remained cold and unreadable. She turned to the security guard standing near the door and said firmly, Escort this intruder out of my sight. She is to spend the night outside, by the security house, in the cold. Let her learn what it means to walk into another woman's home and disrespect her. Bella gasped. No, please. I beg you. But her cries fell on deaf ears. Pack your cheap clothes and leave my house, Amelia said sharply. Right now. The guards obeyed instantly. Bella's sobs filled the air as they gathered her bags. She turned once more toward Gabriel for help, but he stood there silently, broken, ashamed, and powerless. Amelia turned her gaze to him. And you, Gabriel, she said, her tone icy and final. Pack your things. You're not sleeping one more night in this house. Gabriel's body trembled as he bent down to pick up his briefcase. His face was pale. His eyes were swollen from crying. He looked at Amelia helplessly, searching for even a trace of mercy, but there was none. He dragged his bag slowly across the floor and disappeared into the hallway like a man walking to his own funeral. When the door finally closed behind him, the house fell silent. The only sound was the soft ticking of the clock and Amelia's quiet breathing. She stood still for a moment, her strength slowly melting into exhaustion. Then, she turned and saw Olivia standing in the corner, head bowed, hands folded nervously. For a brief moment, Amelia's stern face softened. She walked slowly toward Olivia, her eyes glistening with tears. "Olivia," she said gently, "you saved me." Olivia looked up, surprised. Amelia continued, her voice breaking with emotion. "If not for your courage, I would still be living in darkness, believing his lies. You gave me the truth, even when you were afraid I might not believe you." Olivia's lips trembled. "Madam, I only did what was right," she said quietly. "I was scared, but I couldn't keep watching you live in deceit." Amelia's eyes filled with tears. She stepped closer and pulled Olivia into a warm hug. "You've been more than a maid to me," she whispered. "You've been my eyes, my strength, and the sister I never knew I had." Olivia broke down and hugged her tightly. Amelia smiled softly and said, "You will be rewarded for this. I'll make sure you're blessed beyond your imagination." Moments later, the front door creaked open again. Gabriel appeared, dragging his bag toward the gate. Amelia stood by the doorway, with Olivia by her side. Gabriel stopped and turned around one last time, hoping she would change her mind. But Amelia's face remained strong and steady. Her eyes no longer showed pain, only peace and finality. Without saying another word, she turned her face away. And that simple gesture said everything. It was over. Gabriel lowered his head, wiped his tears, and walked out of the compound, leaving behind the life, the home, and the woman he had once taken for granted. We have come to understand from this story that never betray the one who stood by you when you had nothing. A home built on lies and betrayal will never stand. A faithful heart is worth more than all the riches in the world. No matter how long a lie lasts, the truth will always come out. Every action has a consequence, and sometimes forgiveness doesn't erase the pain. So what would you do if you were Amelia? Would you forgive Gabriel, or would you send him away forever? And if you were Olivia, would you have had the courage to speak the truth, knowing it could cost you your job? Tell us what you think in the comments section. We love hearing your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching this emotional story till the end. If this story touched your heart, please don't forget to like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, share it with your friends and family. Subscribe to our channel for more touching and powerful stories like this one. Stay tuned for more emotional and life-changing stories on African folktales and epic.